If you're over 60 and worried about heart health, cholesterol is only one part of the story. Your arteries also depend on how well your blood vessels relax, how much inflammation is present, and how much hidden visceral fat surrounds your organs. Today, we're talking about one simple ingredient some research has linked to better blood vessel function: unsweetened raw cacao powder. Not chocolate candy, not sugary cocoa mix, just minimally processed cacao, which contains flavanols that may support nitric oxide production and healthy circulation when combined with good daily habits. But this is not a cure, not a fat-burning shortcut, and not a replacement for medication or medical advice. In this video, you'll learn how cacao may support artery health, how to add it safely to coffee, who should avoid it, and the biggest mistakes that can cancel out its benefits. Stay until the end, because the safety section is especially important if you take blood pressure medicine, blood thinners, diabetes medication, or have kidney or stomach issues. The hidden cause of artery damage. Most people believe clogged arteries happen because of dietary cholesterol alone. But modern cardiovascular research shows the story is much more complicated. Your arteries are lined with an ultra-thin layer of cells called the endothelium. Think of it like a protective Teflon coating inside your blood vessels. When the endothelium is healthy, blood flows smoothly. Your arteries stay flexible, your blood pressure remains stable, and plaque has a much harder time sticking to the walls. But when this lining becomes inflamed and damaged, everything changes. Now imagine an old garden hose left outside for 20 years. The hose becomes stiff, cracked, narrow. Blood barely moves through it. That's exactly what happens to aging arteries when inflammation damages the endothelial lining. And one of the biggest drivers of this inflammation is visceral fat. Not the fat under your skin, the hidden fat surrounding your organs. Visceral fat behaves differently from ordinary body fat. It releases inflammatory chemicals directly into your bloodstream. Those chemicals damage the arterial lining, reduce nitric oxide production, and create the perfect environment for plaque buildup. So the real sequence often looks like this. Visceral fat creates inflammation. Inflammation damages the artery wall. Then plaque begins accumulating in the damaged areas. That's why many seniors with normal weight still develop cardiovascular disease, because visceral fat can remain hidden deep inside the abdomen. The ingredient that changes everything. Now, here's where things get interesting. The ingredient researchers keep studying for blood vessel function is raw cacao powder, not milk chocolate, not sugary cocoa mix. Raw or minimally processed cacao rich in flavanols. Cacao contains plant compounds called flavanols, especially epicatechin, which help support nitric oxide production in the blood vessels. Nitric oxide acts like your body's natural artery relaxer. It tells blood vessels to open wider so blood can move more easily. And this matters even more after age 60 because nitric oxide production naturally declines with age. Several studies have shown that flavanol-rich cocoa may improve endothelial function and support healthy circulation. Researchers also observed improvements in blood vessel flexibility and blood pressure markers in some participants consuming cocoa flavanols regularly. But here's the important part most people miss. This is not about eating candy bars. Most processed chocolate contains added sugar and very little flavanol content. The beneficial compounds are highest in minimally processed cacao. And when seniors added consistently into a healthy lifestyle, the effects can compound over time. How cacao may help target visceral fat. Now let's talk about the second half of the equation, visceral fat. Research suggests cocoa flavanols may help support metabolic health in several ways. Improving insulin sensitivity, reducing oxidative stress, supporting circulation, and activating pathways involved in fat metabolism. One pathway researchers often discuss is AMPK. Think of AMPK like your body's metabolic switch. When activated, the body becomes more efficient at using stored energy instead of constantly storing more fat. And visceral fat tends to respond faster than ordinary fat because it's metabolically active. That's why many people notice waist measurements changing before the scale changes. Now combine this with one more important factor: reduced inflammation. Cacao is rich in antioxidant polyphenols that help reduce oxidative stress inside blood vessels. And lower inflammation may help support healthier arteries over time. This doesn't mean cacao melts fat overnight. That's internet nonsense. But combined with proper eating habits, movement, sleep, and a consistent routine, it can become part of a heart-supportive lifestyle. The daily coffee protocol for seniors. Here's the practical protocol many seniors can realistically follow. Step 1. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of unsweetened raw cacao powder to your morning coffee. Make sure the label says raw cacao, natural cocoa, or non-alkalized cocoa. Avoid Dutch processed cocoa because heavy processing can reduce flavanol levels dramatically. Step 2. Add cinnamon, especially Ceylon cinnamon if possible. Cinnamon may help support insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control. Step 3. Do not overload the drink with sugar. Too much sugar works against blood vessel health and increases inflammation. Step 4. If possible, avoid adding regular dairy milk directly into high flavanol cacao. Some research suggests dairy proteins may reduce flavanol absorption. Unsweetened almond milk or oat milk may be better options. Step 5. Drink it consistently, not once a week. Daily habits matter more than extreme short-term efforts. And pair it with these artery-supportive habits: leafy greens, fatty fish, walnuts, walking after meals, proper sleep, and avoiding late-night overeating. Because no single food repairs arteries by itself. The real power comes from stacking healthy behaviors together. The 3 biggest mistakes seniors make. Mistake number 1. Buying highly processed cocoa powder. If the label says alkalized or Dutch processed, flavanol levels may be much lower. Mistake number 2. Expecting dramatic results in 1 week. Blood vessel health improves gradually. Endothelial repair is a long-term biological process. Consistency matters more than intensity. Mistake number 3. Ignoring visceral fat completely. Some people focus only on cholesterol while continuing habits that increase inflammation. Poor sleep, constant snacking, inactivity, ultra-processed foods, and chronic stress. But heart health is connected to the entire metabolic system. When inflammation drops, circulation improves. When circulation improves, arteries function better. And when arteries function better, your entire body benefits. Here's the truth most seniors never hear. Your arteries are not automatically doomed because of your age. Your body still has an incredible ability to adapt, repair, and improve when you consistently support it with the right habits. The small things matter. What you drink every morning matters. What you eat daily matters. How well you sleep matters. How much visceral fat you carry matters. And while raw cacao is not a miracle cure, the science around cocoa flavanols and blood vessel health is genuinely promising. So if you learned something valuable today, share this video with someone you care about. A parent, a spouse, a friend over 60. Because sometimes one small daily habit can become the beginning of a much healthier future. Subscribe for more science-backed longevity and healthy aging videos.